Welcome to HumanityWins.net. Please read the important disclaimer on your screen. All of the content provided is for entertainment purposes only. It should not be taken as medical or legal advice. Please contact your doctor or lawyer if you require such advice. Thank you. The show starts right now. Hello, welcome to this very special episode of Change is Near. Today we had in an interview Harold Klaus-Vela. If you don't know who Harold is, I suggest you look at episode 14. And I spoke about him on several episodes. He's someone I admire very much, and I think is one of the brightest persons on planet Earth. This is not my words. I copied this from another gentleman's interview with Harold. Harold is a theoretical physicist, scientist, and mystic. He first came to the scene with an in-depth analysis of the Chemtrail agenda. It is very rare to find someone who is such deeply knowledgeable in so many areas. He's a true hidden gem of the 21st century. I strongly believe about this. So without further ado, I'm going to present the first part of the interview, and I suggest please come back tomorrow for the second part. It's all going to make sense together. There's no way the second part without the first part or in the inverse is going to make sense. So please look at this first part and come back tomorrow for the final part of this great interview. I'm deeply honored to be part of this. Okay. Hello, welcome to this very special edition of Change is Near. We are very honored today. I know I've been telling you that there are no hierarchies and we shouldn't believe in hierarchies and we're equally capable and equally beautiful, but please allow me to be human today because I'm very honored to have on the show someone I admire very much. I consider that one of the most bright persons in the world right now, from Germany, Harold Klaus-Vela. Hello, Harold.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Harold, we were discussing the topics before starting the show, and I was wondering if we could start with black goo, a subject I spoke many times in my 50 episodes, which I personally believe is antimatter that powers the evildoers that are controlling the world through the harvesting of emotions. I know your story that you said that you were about to kill a hotel director or something like that because you were going to have a shower, and that's how I feel black goo can control you emotionally or give you bad emotions, and maybe that black goo gave you. It had like a battery, bad energy that went into you, and you were temporarily had that thing. So please let us know about black goo. You are that person in the world that knows most about this very interesting subject. Thank you.
It's funny because normally if I'm asked to talk about black goo, I say, leave me alone with these old topics, because research has been years ago.
Yes.
And not much used to come on top of what we found out back then. But actually now it's a good moment to review things, because in the context of the entire vaccination campaign,
yes,
with the graphene nanotubes, we see one component of black goo in action, which is a beautiful opportunity to learn more and connect more dots about how is what working. Okay. So maybe it is a good idea to make a new show or a new perspective on that whole topic. So maybe I can start with a brief definition, because we need to be precise. Hardly any other topic is so misinterpreted like that one, because it's so loaded with emotional stuff, kind of identifying it with evil. In general, like we could say all the incarnated beings on this planetary sphere, they are made of flesh when it comes to the animal kingdom and to humans. Mm-hmm. So flesh is flesh, whether there are lions or donkeys or deers, whatever, flesh is flesh. So this is what hosts incarnated consciousness.
Okay.
When it comes to other fractal layers of the consciousness field, there is something we know, for example, as instinct.
Okay.
Just one sec. Yeah?
No problem.
Can you open that box? There is a note. And
I'm in the middle of an interview.
Okay.
Later. So
No problem. No problem.
So if you look at the fractals of consciousness realms, there is something we know as instinct, something we know as the collective consciousness.
Oh, yes.
How does a bird know how to behave after it's born? This is pulled from somewhere. So all those collective components, they also have a physical form to live in.
Okay.
And this is part of the planetary consciousness. If you dig deep into the ground, you find that substance. We call it black goo.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that is close or hosted in crude oil.
Mm-hmm.
The components are created with abiotic oil.
Okay.
Actually, it's a higher dimensional process, this creation, because in abiotic oil actually is created in transmutation processes where you have juvenile water coming up in streams, and whenever you have like a nozzle form where pressure is released, you get cavitation fields. And within those cavitation fields, you cavitate carbon dioxide and mineral-loaded water.
Okay. So
And this is what you can see in the lab. It creates black goo.
okay.
If you send that mix into a cavitation process, it's getting gooey and sticky, and you get very interesting transmutation processes that can be looked at in the lab. So I guess this is kind of how abiotic oil is created. Some of it lands in reservoirs, and another part is actually out of that mix created up concentrating, because it is capable of self-organization.
Okay.
This contains fulvic acid, humic acid, graphene nanotubes, C60, and as the lower end of the transmutation lines, precious metals like gold, iridium, for example, that are as newly created matter, highly charged, electromagnetically or scalar-wise, highly charged. So they hover somewhere in between this realm and higher realms. This is what is known as Ormus.
Yeah, I wanted to ask just a brief question. I've taken something called shilajit that has a lot of fulvic acid. It apparently grows through humidity in the Himalayas. I think it's they source it from there. I take it for energy. I have all my life problems with energy. I have a little bit of mitochondrial dysfunction and so other physical problems. So I took it from energy, but I didn't like it very much because the energy was there, but I felt something strange. So maybe shilajit is related to black goo, if I understand, at least from the fulvic acid perspective, because it does look like black goo. Actually, it's very small. They sell you a very small capsule, and you have to take very little of shilajit. Gives you a lot of energy. But I didn't like it. I just took it once and finished it and didn't order it again.
Imagine if you keep the thing in the water and you allow it to automatize form, up concentrate in the water, you get an intelligent combination of components.
Okay.
If you have that water still completely mixed with traces of this, and you have the water being filtered through stone, and then it evaporates from the cave wall, and the more organic components stick to the wall because only the water evaporates, you have a very mechanical up concentration process. So it's not identical, but it contains some of the ingredients. And Shilajit or Mumio, they very much differ in quality.
Okay.
You sometimes get qualities where you take the substance into your hand and it's so good in composition that you can feel the spirit of Gaia in it. You can directly communicate with Mumio Shilajit.
Okay, so
you get a good quality. Other qualities, it's just the dead matter.
Okay.
And it's like you try to communicate with a dead body, it doesn't really work. It's still healthy as a food supplement. It's okay, but you do not get the spiritual access through the substance.
Great. So if I understand you correctly, black goo is not always bad. I mean, you spoke about that. You spoke about the meteorite black goo. I believe there's a lot of in Paraguay, if I remember correctly, and that's the one that probably affected you when you have your story that we were talking before starting about when you wanted to take a shower and because you didn't find a room in a hotel. Am I right? Something like that. And the hotel director, you were very upset with the hotel director, and you felt it was through the black goo that, if I remember correctly, this all from memory, that apparently you feel your heart chakra dwindles to nothing, so your empathy, your humanity just goes down. And I felt that with Shilajit, that the energy was there, artificial. I felt okay physically, but emotionally I didn't like it. So it was very expensive actually. I tried to buy the best source one that had the best comments. So it was probably a good Shilajit, but I didn't like it. It didn't work for me.
Interesting.
Yes. So maybe it was not the right kind, as you're saying. It was dead or something. So if you want, just briefly, if you want to tell us this story from your memory of how black goo, the meteor black goo, is apparently not very good for us. Okay?
Yes. Not every encounter with Gaia is pure love at first sight.
Okay.
Humans have lived their lives, multi-incarnational, and she is witness to everything.
Okay.
If someone has been messing up things for millennia, for multiple incarnations, it's like a child. The parents never stop loving them, but if the children misbehave, the parents can get angry.
Excellent.
This is one possible explanation if the first contact to Gaia is not that loving and convenient. She was when we first contacted. The very first one was beautiful and loving. And the second one was because I decided to come back home out of free choice.
Okay.
Yeah. I was greeted by her in a beautiful way. And the second contact was already very strict and pointing out to the things I did wrong in my times. So she's not always convenient. She's always loving.
Okay.
And some people have problems to tune in, or sometimes people who trade Shielit or Mumio, they abuse of the substance to get their own agenda started, possibly. Maybe you got a wrong label, a wrong...
Yes, that's a possibility for sure.
This is also a possibility. More I can't tell you because I don't have the substance in my hands right now. But the general story about the evil alien black goo is that throughout history, humans found meteorite blocks, from very big ones to smaller ones, which contained very porous, I guess, a limestone variety, or maybe zeolite-ish, something, I'm not sure. Anyway, something that has a high internal surface and a capacity to soak in the liquid.
Okay.
And those stones are soaked also with something that is, by definition, black goo. But if you communicate with it, you do not get Gaia on the other end of the line. You get a different spirit. And what he says mostly is about the same form of communication. Give me blood and fire sacrifice, and I will give you power.
Okay.
So
yes.
This is how all of the black magic cults, all over the planet, always started. People finding meteorite material, and the spirit within was asking for blood and fire sacrifice.
There's just a series, I'm sorry to interject with something mainstream with Netflix, about videos or something like that, but it was about this story that this meteorite thing, like a mold, and I believe black mold, it's another not good, similar thing to black goo, grew on this building and exactly asked for sacrifices And I do believe this is what we call demons, or all these satanic cultures and that are related to exactly that. I just wanted to interject that. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a lot of it is in the mainstream, camouflaged as fiction, but people get inspired. Some writers in Hollywood even have access to deeper truth.
Yes.
Not everything is kind of they display what they do. Some of it is just inspiration, deeper knowledge of things. The thing happening with these Black Goo cults, it's not that we face something that was hitting some random tribe back 4,000 or 5,000 years ago.
Okay.
Those things evolved into mainstream. Those things evolved into the Abrahamic religions and other world religions. And the consciousness within, if we call Gaia Gaia, we call the planetary spirit living in this alien Black Goo Satan. And he is actually a planetary entity that is traumatized down to his own mental field. It's like with a human. If you traumatize all the lower chakras by torture and self-destruction and bad events, a human might end up as a complete psychopath.
Okay. Yes.
Who is just coherent in his mind, feels nothing anymore, but has this tremendous need to restage his own traumatization. And like it happens with humans, there's no difference. It also happens with planetary consciousness, with a planet spirit. He can get traumatized due to planetary self-destruction, and then he is reduced to his mental field, and then his only desire is to restage what killed him in the first place. And this is actually exactly the blueprint, the archetype for what we experience today as humanity. The entire transhumanist agenda, turning a species into a species of biorobots, meant to improve them, but with all the drawbacks it has. This is what was leading to the destruction of his home planet. And then his species, and this is the only thing where I'm not 100% sure whether it's all kind of traumatization through trauma, or if the species that then left the destroyed planet manipulated the Black Goo they took with them to not be forced to feel the pain that was still coming from the destroyed planet. So possibly it's kind of an engineering thing that someone with intelligence knew how to change the quality of the substance to remove the emotional parts from it.
Okay.
And the only part where we are in contact with this emotion, actually, if you have a look at Atlantean culture and Atlantean artifacts that were reassembled, for example, in the pyramids, the Ark of the Covenant, the Box of the Pandora is another one. These are crystals capable of charging collective consciousness.
Okay.
Like batteries for collective consciousness.
Yes, they grab this energy as emotions. Okay, yes.
And if you, especially if you look at the Box of the Pandora, it contained all the evil of the world. So possibly this is where the emotional aspect of the self-destruction of that planet went into.
Okay.
And then it was kind of charged into the Earth grids of Black Goo, opening the Box of the Pandora. And we, as the planet and as humanity, as the primary being on it, are forced to deal with the satanic trauma. This is kind of a thing that gives quite much meaning and sense into our history. The entire expulsion from paradise.
Okay.
is exactly this, being confronted with a trauma, disconnecting from our own collective out of pain. And then we are basically disconnected from Gaia because we don't want to feel the pain that actually is the satanic pain, driven into the arms of Satan, that is offering us his intellectual, emotion-free alternative. It's an evil trick if you look at it.
It's very evil. It's very evil. As I said before we started, I'm sorry if I'm not at your level, and I'm going to try to say this in layman terms. But the way I understand it is this, as you say, this demon energy, let's call it like that, Satan energy, gives you things, asking things back. Okay, so all the violence, all the suffering in the world for millennia. This didn't start in 2020, guys. This has been going on for millennia. All the wars, all the famine, all the even domestic violence through families, fathers hating children, children hating their fathers. It's feeding this energy. The intention of the channel, Harald, is there's a good energy coming. I don't know where it's coming, but I think there's an opposing force coming, telling us, discover what's really important. Don't buy into the Earth's narrative. We have to change and evolve. We have to be beacons of love and assistance, help each other, because if we play to their game, if we seek violence, if we seek even something like justice through violence, it's playing their game, it's feeding their batteries. And sorry, it's not a technical explanation, but it's the way I see it, that these are energies, and there's love, and yes, there's unfortunately there's bad energy, but love always conquers everything. So I just wanted to interject that.
If you look at solving primary problems, the only thing we can and should do, actually, we stepped down in this restaging of the sad story of Satan as a planet. We stepped down all the way to the point of being willing to destroy and sacrifice our own planet. We went down the entire path. We're 5 minutes to worldwide nuclear war on Ukraine. And even if that does not happen, we have so many means to destroy nature, cutting down the forests. We are on that path of complete self-destruction. And we, by doing that, volunteered in a way to step into his darkness. And the approach when darkness is restaged is to make all the painful things conscious again. Actually, it's a self-healing mechanism. If it has two possible directions. If I am abused as a child, I have the impulse to abuse my children. Doing it, I look at the same quality from the opposite perspective. But it gives me a chance to understand what happened to me as a child. So I can revive the pain and reintegrate everything that I lost as a child. So it's a healing mechanism, not trying to justify any of it. I'm just describing how nature is solving its own problems. Yes. And in the same way, Satan restaged his self-destruction, so we as a species have the unique chance and opportunity to bring everything that he is into healing by acknowledging our own darkness. Okay. By bringing our own darkness into light. And this is kind of the big difference on personal level. I do not become the I'm whatever, divine thing by ignoring my dark sides and pretending that I'm all love and light and shiny. This is not how it happens. I become what we all want to become by acknowledging my own darkness, forgiving myself, and reintegrating everything that I lost due to victim trauma and perpetrator trauma. The perpetrator trauma is the more difficult. to acknowledge that I have raped, to acknowledge that I have killed, to acknowledge that I have blood sacrificed my own children. This is what is painful. And to accept yourself as the one you have been.
Yes.
And still love yourself, because you understand that this is simply what those incarnations went through. They were set on a path and it followed its internal logic, and it's fucking painful what happened.
Yes.
And you sit there and you acknowledge and you remember and you forgive yourself.
Yes.
And then you stop judging others who are exactly on that step of the staircase.
Everything inside me is ringing, Harald, and I'm just refraining myself from speaking, and I apologize. But it is, I want to tell you again in layman terms. I was telling you before we started that I've done, and I don't know what's going on with my camera, that it went a little bit dark, but it's fine. That I was telling you that I've done regressions and I've done emotional response therapies. In Spanish is TRE therapy, terapia respuesta emocional, it's the pendulum therapy. So I know my past lives, and I've seen them in my head through the regressions. And yes, I've beheaded people, I've killed, and I've done horrible things. There's no point I go through the whole list. But I've forgiven myself, Harald, because you know what? I see that as the definition of karma. I think there's a cloud here, so I'm kind of going, but doesn't matter because I'm not the intention here. The definition of karma, I see it as understanding, as learning. It's never punishment. They say when something bad happens to you, it's instant karma. When these unfortunate people that got the injection are falling on TV, it's instant karma, because we were talking about the unvaccinated. No, that's not karma. Karma is understanding that you have been horrible in past lives, and even in this life, because I've not been perfect in this life. I've done mistakes, I've hurt people, I've judged people. But you know what? Once you understand and once you realize that, and I'm getting very excited about this because everything that Harald says resonated with me 1000%. It is about that, about accepting and forgiving yourself from all the bad, so you can understand that the way is another one. Okay? I don't know if that makes sense, Harald. I'm sorry. It's just I explain things very basically, but it's something that came to me in the past 12 months. I was a different person 12 months ago, very focused on the vaccine and all that, and all these distractions. And now my only focus is to try to share passionately this message that you have to understand who you are. Look into your past lives. You are not, this is not your only existence, and this is not going to be your last existence. So please accept yourself, love yourself. Whatever you have done, believe me, you have understood your lesson if you are here. And life and your eternal existence is all about understanding yourself. And I don't know if they're messing with me here with that transmission, because I don't know, you see me in black. But yeah. And I don't know, it's very creepy. But they're trying to, but as long as the audio is coming, I'm fine. So no, it's because there's a window and there's less, the sun is covered, so that's why my camera is not taking that. But Harald, if it's fine with you, if we can shift to the subject of free energy. I know you have worked with that around 20 years ago, if I remember correctly. You were in very different companies they were trying to bring free energy as a market. If I understood correctly, it was a product, so it was going to be in the scarcity world. So you mentioned in a video that those companies collapsed or imploded because of the scarcity to abundance paradigm. And before I let you speak, I just want to say I feel free energy, that the key word is free. It has to be like air, as you say. It has to be abundant and free. Free energy, if it comes as abundance, is going to take down the hierarchies, the governments, the money system, the financial system, and everything. It will have to be abundant, because that's the future of the world. We live in a future of scarcity because it favors a few, not because it favors the more. So having said that, I'm going to let you speak on free energy, please, Harald.
Maybe we really start with the more philosophical frame, because it's difficult, very difficult to handle. On one end, we see the result. We all want to be in abundance.
Okay.
But the problem is we are not externally and not internally. So we need to understand the transition process.
Okay.
And the transition process is that all things actually
Yes.
go. They
I'm just
go.
gonna ask them. Sorry about that, Harold. I just wanted to keep you talking. Now it's better. I apologize about that. I had to turn on the lights. Something happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
All good. Okay.
Sorry. Sorry.
No problem. So what we need to understand is that this transition from scarcity-driven to an abundance-driven society is like every nonlinear change of systems. If you have like one system that is organized in a self-stabilizing form for millennia, for hundreds of years, thousands of years, and you want to have a different form of organization, shifting from one order to another order follows certain mathematical rules.
Okay.
Which means that the entire system needs to go through a phase of chaos.
Okay.
Normally, maybe it's the best to describe the original experiment in chaos theory. It was like an aquarium with a heating plate on the bottom and a cooling plate on top. And then the water was in a stable flow. Let's call it a cauliflower.
Okay.
Rising in the middle as the stem and then falling down again, the cold water. And if you look with a thermal camera, you have a static picture. This is order. Okay. It is in motion, but the order is static.
Okay.
And let's say the aquarium is very long, so you have 5 cauliflowers next to each other. And then you slowly add salt. So you change the physical properties.
Okay.
And if you would have started with salt water, you would have got different flowers to develop. Not a cauliflower, but a palm tree. But even if you slowly add salt, the cauliflower stays metastable. Because it has its order, it simply refuses to dissemble. Even if something else would be created when you start from zero, it is metastable. Then in this condition of metastability, if you add even more salt, at a certain point, it can't keep up that old order. And you get chaotic motion patterns where the cauliflowers touch each other in the middle, in the border between 2 big structures. Suddenly, unpredictable things are happening. And you get other forms developing, finding their stable order in a tiny area.
Okay.
Let's say not a palm tree, a Brussels sprout develops.
Okay.
Because it fits size-wise. And then once the first Brussels sprout is stable, it is multiplying itself. It's creating Brussels sprouts all over the place, killing the old order. So the cauliflowers fall apart. And then all the Brussels sprouts start to rearrange themselves, finding their stem to align to.
Okay.
This is kind of the first ever recorded and analyzed picture of a nonlinear change of order. And you can see that, for example, all the spiritual impulses come from Palestine,
okay,
where Asia, Europe, and Africa meet. Mm-hmm. The space, the triple space between the big orders. This is where chaos is happening all the time, and this is where new ideas are born. And if something like Christianity is born, it burns itself through all continents, and it's unstoppable. So this is my vision of nonlinear change. And if we want to come from scarcity to abundance, we will see tiny little islands of abundance develop in the hidden.
Gradually, yes.
Stabilize themselves until it is 100% proof that this is simply the better way to live.
Of course.
And then people will copy it. The thing is, when this is happening, the old system is falling very quickly.
Yes.
And everything goes through a phase of chaos. Because nothing of the old will work anymore.
Yeah, necessary chaos.
What arranges itself around the new is capable of surviving. So whoever is sticking to the old for too long is going to be gone. This is part of the shift in order. Now, the problem is, if we understand that and then we say, okay, so we know now how to force humanity into abundance by doing exactly that. If we are too quick and if we introduce too much free energy into the veins of the old system, trying to create those islands, all we do is we accelerate the process of self-destruction, because we are already in this process. It's always the first things happening when you are facing a shift in order is that you see signs of chaos and self-destruction, and we are on a declining path. If you add energy to that, you accelerate the self-destruction.
Okay, yeah.
So it's not a good path.
Yeah.
We cannot feed free energy into industrial complexes, because the industrial complex in itself is already an expression of self-destruction.
Yes.
So we need to really, really envelope those things, keep them in the small, in the hidden, find a community life around them where the spirit can heal, where people find their inner abundance before they express the outer one. And this is kind of a slow way to learn and to develop. And if it happens, I'm happy, but I don't want to know that. I don't want anyone to know.
Okay.
I want people to travel from one place to another to carry the secret of how it works and spread it in silence. Because then the process of self-destruction is not accelerated. Then souls have more time to learn. The transit is longer and smoother. And not that many people need to lose their lives through the chaos developing in between.
So that was part one of this great interview with Harald Klaus Bella. I just want to make a point because, as I said, I listened to it with you. And when I said I didn't agree with something, it was about transhumanism. But I didn't say I didn't agree with Harald. I said it just came out from me that I don't agree with mixing machines with humans or with biological beings and beings from Gaia, as Harald says, or Mother Earth. So I just wanted to clarify because as I was watching it, it could be misunderstood. I was disagreeing with Harald, but no, I was disagreeing. I was like saying, no, transhumanism, we don't want that, all right? So please stay for the last 3 minutes. These are always the same. If you're new to the channel, please stay. If you are a recurring subscriber, you might want to stop the video after I stop speaking. So please return for part 2 of this extremely interesting interview with Harald Klaus Bella. And I enjoyed it very much. Everything inside me was resonating all the time. I'm very happy I did this. I'm very happy I brought Harald, this gentleman, to the episode, to the show. Alright, so please stay for the last 3 minutes. I should see you back tomorrow for episode 52 of May the 10th of the year 2022. The interview with Harald Klaus Bella part 2. Alright, please come back tomorrow and see the second. We want you on the show. Send me an email to hey@humanitywins.net to schedule an interview. Help me out by making the show more interesting, fun and knowledgeable by having you on and giving our viewers the opportunity to learn from you. Thank you for making it to this part of the video. This is my favorite part. This is where I suggest to you that you discover yourself. You are not what you have been groomed to believe. You are this incredible being without limits that has eternal life, amazing strength, infinite wisdom, and a big, beautiful heart. All your limits are always self-imposed. Your best version in this reality is inside you. Your only mission on this life is to become a beacon of love and guidance. This version is ready to be discovered today. How do you discover yourself? The discovery process is a personal one. No one can do it for you. Dedicate 5 minutes a day to talk to yourself and the universe. Request to be connected and ask, who am I? Where do I come from? You will start getting signs, breadcrumbs, and signals. You will notice how your notions about those realities start disappearing. No more hierarchies, no more competition, no more complaining, no more depending on others. Discovering yourself equals to breaking your matrix. Your self-imposed limits will fall, and you will be ready to serve humanity and help break this spell and deception on us. But you must be patient to allow others to wake up at their time through their own free will. That will be really soon, you will see, and that will start a new war. As you work towards your best version, you will notice how old emotions don't serve you anymore. Hate, fear, rage, pride, loss, envy, violence, justice, true violence, judgment of others, and other emotions will disappear from your mind and heart. You will understand those emotions serve only the evildoers and are not you. Please try to be understanding of others that don't think or feel like you. Everyone has a process. No one is right or wrong. We're all just different. Don't be concerned about being right, ever. Don't allow pride preventing you from touching things up with family and friends. It is very important you enjoy this life with your loved ones. Put in the work to patch things up and leave it to others to decide. Please relax and enjoy life. When everyone breaks their own matrix, humanity through our community consciousness will break the final spell. The new world will start and everything will gradually fall. Governments, hierarchies, and the medical and financial system will go from scarcity to abundance for all. Thank you very much for watching. Please share this episode. If you have any comments or suggestions, please use the comment section below. For private questions, conversations, and if you would like to appear on the show, please email me at hey@humanitywins.net. Please be sure to check out our friends from Waking the Future and their awaken-attire.com shop. They gave me my first opportunity to speak about this and I will be forever grateful. Link to their channel and shop on the show notes. Thank you again. Please don't forget to visit our website www.humanitywins.net. By giving me your time, you honor me. Have a very, very, very nice day.